A vegan and a meat eater spent nearly $1,000 trying 11 Madison Park's new meat optional menu. Here's what it was like. So 11 Madison Park is the Michelin star. I think they have 3 stars or had 3 stars. I don't know how all that works. New York restaurant that went fully vegan a few years ago and then just announced a couple months ago, the head chef announced, I guess head chef and owner, that they are adding meat back to the menu, making it clear that this is not because of, I don't think he said anything about finances, although of course that's everyone's first thought is like, bro, you tried to charge like $1,000 for vegetables. Like, yeah, maybe the restaurant wasn't doing great. But he said it was more about inclusivity. He felt like he was excluding people, meat eaters, by having an all vegan thing. And he thought that having some meat on the menu would somehow help plant-based eating. I mean, look, I think maybe there's an argument to be made there that if you have more options, you encourage more people to come, because there are people who are just like, I'm not going to a restaurant that's vegan, period. Like, even if people rave about the food, no, they're not going to go, just out of principle, I guess. What a principle to have. And so maybe exposing people to plant-based food, even if they are ordering meat, could be helpful, right? I think people eating with vegans, right, at like your normal restaurant that maybe has vegan options, vegans going and having the vegan option, right? Like, I think that's a good thing. Like, be the lighthouse, right? Be the example. But certainly it's much more likely that they just aren't doing well financially. He did say that the menu will still be predominantly plant-based. In fact, I think overwhelmingly the menu is plant-based, but there are a few meals where you can choose to have it vegan or you can add meat to it or have the meat option. I think that's what it is. I think there are 2 different meals because it's one of those ultra fancy restaurants where you have different courses. I've never been to a restaurant like that, but yeah, it's like hundreds of dollars per person. They bring you like the hot towel for your hands. I don't know what that's for, but I would love that. My hands are so cold all the time. I wouldn't even eat. I would just sit there with the towel. The fanciest restaurant I think I've been to, this is like one of my dad's like favorite stories about me. He tells this all the time. But I think it rotated actually. It was at the top of a building. Was it in Memphis? Typical me would not eat anything until they brought out the dessert cart and there was a chocolate piano. And so I had a chocolate piano for dinner. This is how terrified my parents were of me and my hunger mood swings. Just like, oh, she'll eat chocolate? Okay, fine. That can be your dinner. Anyway, back to this Business Insider article where they have a vegan on their staff and a meat eater go and have dinner together at 11 Madison Park. And obviously the vegan gets the all vegan stuff and the meat eater gets the 2 or 3, meat courses that they have. And I read through the first one where the meat eater got the meat course, and the difference between the 2 courses, I was like, okay, I gotta make a video about this. This is what she does. She knows I'm preoccupied. What even? Aw. So you see what she does? She puts her paws on me and leans back and just looks at me like, God, I love you. I want to pet you, but when I do, you bite. So then I take my hands away. And then you jump on me and try to lick my face. So then I pet you and then you bite my hands. So then I take my hands away and then you try to lick my face. I can't win. So it says here guests can still order a completely plant-based tasting menu or opt for the new menu. A tasting menu. What does that mean? What is it a tasting menu? So it's not supposed to be like full meal that like you get full on? You're just tasting? Am I just not understanding because I'm not bougie enough? I don't know. Anyway, you can get the fully vegan or the omnivorous court meal. What do you say? Course? No, a course is one of the meals for the whole thing. What do you say the whole thing is? Full course meal for, I don't care, honestly. I hate this foodie shit. Like, who even wants this? I can't imagine. The worst part of eating at a restaurant is dealing with the waiters. Not that they're bad, even if they're fine. I want robots bringing me food, please. I want conveyor belts, please. And like, the idea that multiple times they're coming to your table and talking to you and bringing you food again. No. If it's the wonderful waitress at Yansu who is so sweet and is so sweet to our children, that's fine. But anyone else, no. Dude, if there were a vegan buffet here, oh my God. $365 per person. You have to pay for it in advance. Man, that's crazy. All right, so they're talking about the drinks. I don't care, whatever. Oh, it is interesting. So the vegan reporter got a mocktail and they use aquafaba for the whip, whatever you call it, on top. So, interesting. It created a froth that held its shape atop the fruity, candy-like mocktail. When we sat down at our table, we were given warm towels for our hands. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the only part about this that I'm interested in. Oh, and the bread. First course was 2 laminated bread rolls. I mean, laminated for food is a little weird, but I know what they mean. It's like the layers, right? Like the flaky, like a pastry dough kind of thing. I mean, look at it. That looks delicious. This was the best restaurant bread either of us have ever had. When it's like caramelized onion flavor. And then the second course, a leek salad. And they say it's good. It was delightfully acidic, practically melted in our mouths. Oh, and with the salad, they got a steamed collard green dumpling. So just one? Wait, is it just one? Just one dumpling? In a broth flavored with what tasted like soy sauce. It's a collard green dumpling with soy sauce. Collard greens gave it an earthy flavor. I bet they did. So that's the first 2 courses. The third is where we introduce the meat. So the meat eater got the scallop ceviche with golden beets and grapefruit. Can I just have cereal? Just to be clear, I'm personally not bothered by the scallops. I don't eat scallops because yucky, but I do agree with the bivalve vegans that they are very likely not sentient. So the meat eater gets meat, obviously. They get scallops. It's still like a tiny little thing. I guess that's what they mean by tasting menu. It's just all the courses. They're not like full meals. It's just a tiny bit of food. I swear there was a movie where a couple went to one of these like full course thing, and then afterwards they just went to like a 7-Eleven and got a shit ton of snacks because they were still hungry. But yeah, so he gets something mildly filling, at least. There's something in there besides grapefruit and what was the other thing? Beets. And then she gets a radish salad. While it was a feast for the eyes, the acidity felt similar to the leek course, and it might have been more welcome later in the meal between some of the heavier, saltier courses. Then they got some cold soba noodles in a gelatinous tomato broth. Like it was made from the juice that you get when you slice into a ripe tomato. They were starchy and easy to pick up with the provided chopsticks. Wow, sounds like a 10 out of 10. Like if that's all you have to say about it, I don't know. I feel like maybe it wasn't that delicious. So then we get to the 5th course, which is another opportunity to choose meat. The meat eater got the poached lobster. The vegan got a slab of red curry squash topped with chili jam and bathed in a lemongrass curry. So he got some amount of protein, some amount of something filling. It's still a tiny bit of food. And she got squash. Next, we get some potatoes in a gourd-shaped vessel. This was among their favorite. Well, yeah, it's potatoes. I mean, that's everyone's favorite. And that looks like caviar. It's actually the restaurant's famous land caviar made from seeds. What seeds? I don't know. Definitely looks like caviar. That's pretty amazing. The land caviar seasoned with nori didn't mimic the taste of traditional caviar, but added a pleasing textural contrast to the dish. And then we get honey lavender duck. And luckily, the vegan actually gets some protein now. And this looks legit good. Unfortunately, it's mushrooms. Tender layers of grilled mushrooms were interspliced with squares of seitan, a meat alternative made from wheat gluten. The kebab-like entree was served with spinach. It was unlike anything our vegan editor had tried before in almost a decade of being vegan. Its ingenuity and combination of textures made it a satisfying and memorable dish. It was, however, yet another heavily seasoned dish, so the additions of spinach and crema helped. What the fuck is crema? Crema? Helped balance out those salty flavors. While Warren is somewhat accustomed to seeing people eat meat, the worst part of this course and the entire meal was seeing the duck dish and feeling a sense of anger and sadness. To her, it spoke to how EMP, 11 Madison Park, is alienating its original core base. Well, to be clear, its original base was meat eaters, right? Omnivores. But yeah, I see what she's saying. That sucks. And good on Business Insider for including that. This is not a publication I would consider particularly vegan friendly. Not that I would consider them vegan unfriendly, but I can imagine a lot of publications would not want to include anything about, the ethics of this or a vegan being upset other than just angry, right? We're crazy extremists and we're angry. So to actually include her feelings about the situation beyond just the food she's eating, I don't know. That's really nice. Then we get the dessert. Wait, so how many was that? How many courses was that? Okay, I think that was 7, and then the dessert is the 8th one. Trio featuring pear. A poached pear that contained a type of pudding inside, along with a ball of caramelized white chocolate. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Just no. Of course, was sweet and the perfect way to wind down the meal without being too heavy or decadent. You see what I mean? If it were really good, I feel like you'd have more to say than just it was sweet and it was good that the dessert was sweet. Oh no, that's not the final. The final course was a sesame pretzel with chocolate, and it's on this little fucking necklace rack. Served alongside coffee, it was the perfect end to the meal, especially since after 8 other courses, we both felt extraordinarily stuffed. We were also given a tub of the restaurant's famous granola to take home with us, intended for breakfast the next morning. I'm sorry, famous granola? It's granola. That sounds like a joke. That sounds like a Portlandia joke. Hi, my name's Shannon. I'm famous for my bird bags and my granola.
But a sad little tote bag. I know, I'll put a bird on it. Did you see this bag before? I didn't. Now there's a bird.
It wouldn't be Shannon though. It would be like, or no, it would be Shannon, but it would be spelled like SHYNEN. My favorite, like, fake name creator. Wheel of Time. Actually, I don't know if this is from a book. I haven't read the books, but partner and I watched the show. It's not very good, particularly that last season. I was just making fun of the names and how they're just a little bit off from like real names. You know, there's like a Logan instead of Logan. There's a Ishamel instead of like Ishmael, or you know what I mean? Like, there's so many like that. And I was just talking about that with partner, making fun of it. And then the best one of all came on screen. Charlin. You can't just add or change one letter and then it's cool. 3.5 hours later, we paid the bill and ended our once-in-a-lifetime experience at 11 Madison Park. Kill me. Oh my, that sounds so unpleasant. 3.5 hours of eating and there's no ice cream even. Like, okay, you got some pretzels. I want a full course meal that's all cereal. Just like real special, unique bowls of cereal. Despite costing a total of $855.76 before tip, we both felt the experience was well worth the investment. And then the author says the similar thing I said at the beginning. 11 Madison Park seems capable of getting meat eaters in the door and then opening their minds to experimenting with more plant-based dishes. After all, vegetables still felt like the backbone of the menu and experience. McDowell said she enjoyed all 3 of the meat-based dishes she was served, but would likely have been just as satisfied with the plant-based tasting menu. I'd be much more open to eating at a vegan restaurant after this experience. That was the most thrilling part of the experience for Warren, that her dinner date realized just how inventive, delicious, and satisfying plant-based dining can be. Aw. I'd obviously prefer 11 Madison Park to stay completely vegan, but if an experience like this shows meat eaters how fun and delicious plant-based food is, and they are open to eating less meat as a result, that's progress. So again, I am skeptical. The only protein she got was like a few pieces of seitan. I don't think many people would be thrilled with this. There was another thing. It was like the Emmys or something, like a couple years ago. They were like, hey, we're doing an all vegan thing. And it was the same kind of stuff. It was like grilled eggplant and mushrooms and leeks. It was just all vegetables. Man, that's just not, I don't know, even if it gets people excited about vegan food, that's like not at all what you're eating when you're making vegan food at home, right? And it's not at all what you're going to get if you go to like literally any other vegan restaurant. So, I don't know. It doesn't really map onto the real like lived vegan experience, Okay, you're excited about that sad looking leek salad. Does that mean you're going to be open to like chickpea curries and Beyond Burgers? I don't think so. But you know what? I do appreciate them keeping the menu overwhelmingly plant-based and still leaving the option to have it fully vegan, and you don't even have to tweak anything. You just choose the vegan option. I appreciate that. And while I am suspicious of the chef's claims that it's about inclusivity, maybe it is partly that, but I also think, I think that might have something to do with it because, man, there are a lot of reviews from some pretty mad omnivores, people who used to go there when it wasn't vegan and were not happy with the change. Now, of course, people are going to be more likely to post a review online when they're unhappy than when they're happy. So, but yeah, a lot of restaurants have struggled in recent years. So I think it's pretty likely that finances are involved. I mean, look, if the restaurant were thriving, would they be changing anything? I don't think so. Even still, I appreciate him at least choosing an excuse that doesn't like throw veganism under the bus, you know, or promote like regenerative farming or some nonsense. He did do the whole, if you respect the animal when you kill it, it's fine, actually. It's very moving and there's such respect. If you had seen the whole cycle, of course you would never waste a bite of this. And this did play a role in his decision to add meat to the menu. And again, maybe he's right. Maybe it is helpful to have options for meat eaters as well. I think it was Tobias from The Vegan Strategist. He's talked about having veganism as the default option many, many times and how that in and of itself makes such a huge difference. And that essentially is what 11 Madison Park is doing. The vegan menu is the default menu, and then you can choose meat for 3 of the courses if you want. And we saw that with is it in New York? I think their public hospitals have basically vegan meals as the default. And then you have to ask for the meat versions. And like the vast majority of people get just whatever comes to them. They get the vegan options and are happy with the vegan plant-based options. So yeah, while we of course want everything to be vegan and we don't want people to go backwards, we don't live in a vegan world, and things like this are going to happen and are going to keep happening. And it's still, I think, really, really positive that we have this super bougie restaurant that is almost totally vegan and is still promoting plant-based eating. That's good. I will stick with Yansu and veggie grill and French fries. Like, I just want French fries. Willow! She's stuck at the top of the stairs. She doesn't like coming down the stairs. All right, I gotta go rescue my dog from the top of the stairs. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. I would love to know your thoughts on 11 Madison Park. It's so hard for me to remember that name because it's so, like, I don't know, boring. Like, what? 11 Madison Park. Your restaurant is your address? Anyway, I would love to know your thoughts on 11 Madison Park, what you think about the menu, the vegan menu, the recent change, if you think the portion sizes are fine, if you have any experience with these like ultra expensive full course menu restaurants. What is there like a word for that type of thing? I guess fine dining. Yes, it's fine dining, Swayze. Anyway, I'd love to know if you have any experience with that. If these meals seem like fine or normal. I mean, what's normal for like a regular fine dining restaurant? Is there like meat at every meal? Probably not, but I'm sure you're using milk and egg and stuff in most meals, I would imagine. Maybe there's one where there's like a salad or something. But if you have like potatoes, you probably have butter. Sorry, it's not just butter. It's like lavender honey butter. Why is so much of fine dining eating fucking flowers, rose and lavender and shit? And what you think about the protein with the vegan thing? Like, does that even matter? Because it doesn't seem like people are going to fine dining establishments like this to actually be well fed. It's more just as an experience, a tasting. Oh, I kicked my camera. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much to my members here on YouTube and my patrons at patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. I do post 2 exclusive videos a month for tier 2 members and patrons, tier 2 and up, so tier 2 and 3. And I do a vlog, and I also do a controversial topic or just like whatever I want to talk about that month, usually unrelated to veganism. Last month's actually was. And yeah, that's it for me. Thanks again, guys. New video soon. Willow. I can't whistle for shit. I actually taught myself to whistle in like my 20s. I just kept walking around going like not even thinking anything would happen. I just did it so long, and then one day I actually whistled, and now I can kind of whistle. Not very well.
Come on. You want to sit in my lap? Can you do it? Come on. Can you jump this high? I don't know. If you can do it, you can sit up here. Come on. Come on. Keep trying. You got it. You got it. Come on. Oh, so close. Come on. Yeah. You did it. You did wait a minute, what are we gonna do about the microphone? I don't think they want to listen to